Yeah, it's very well. Okay, so this was my answer.
Thank you very much. Yes, actually, you're absolutely right. We'll have in the next slides to see these parts where there is a exclusive competencies of the European Union, shared competencies with the member states, and exclusive competencies of the member states regarding the areas they cover. But my question is, okay, so you see multidisciplinary, the European Union, like a mix of certain organizational patterns. But for these reasons, we cannot define the European Union as a classical organization. Also, we cannot define the European Union as a classical state or federation, because, as you mentioned, Erika, that there are many areas where the EU behaves like a state, but also there are many areas where the EU behaves like a classic organization, right? Having in mind the decision-making processes. So actually, we have sort of a hybrid situation where, and it's most appropriate to define the European Union only as an entity sui generis, a special type of entity or special type of organization. So that was my question, was only to to include you in the discussion. What do you think about the organizational part of the European Union? And thank you very much. Actually, what you have mentioned, we will see later in the presentation. Now we will move shortly to historical development of the European Union. Very shortly, I would not like to bother you with historical details, but generally only to run into these decades of development of the European Union, almost I think 7 now and more decades. So actually, as I mentioned before, starting as only as a European coal and steel community, continuing as a European Economic Community in 1957 with the Rome Treaties, and then moving forward into political union with the Maastricht Treaty in 1993. So we have 30 or maybe 40 even years of development of the European Union with economic progress, but not actually real political and security progress. What happened in the 90s, after the fall of the Berlin Wall, after the dissolution of Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, and also dissolution of the Soviet Union, then several processes emerged again from the European Union. Actually, the will of political integration has increased. So what we have here in the 90s is the big desire of all these states to make a political union, and it happened, at least nominally. But what we have seen in the later development of the European Union, this process had stopped, had a sort of stagnation. And if we consider the security aspect of the union, we will see that still today we don't have any security integration. We don't have a common European military forces. We don't have common European policy, right? So the member states still have the sovereignty in this part, in the security part. But anyway, the European Union had reached a lot of benefits and gains from this development, building the institutions, making the European common market at the beginning of the 90s, introducing a common introducing the common currency euro, right? Enacted in 1991 and effective from 2002, I think. So many elements that were leading to a state. But what happened in 2004 was a proposal of the new European Constitution, which was not brought. Why? Because French and Dutch citizens had refused the new constitution on a referendum. So actually, what happened was a step back, and sort of reactivating the Maastricht Treaty with some new moments. And that was actually the actual treaty we have, the Lisbon Treaty, which was defined as a reformed constitutional treaty, because we don't have classic constitutional treaty. If we had that, then the EU would have been a federation, at least, with common anthem, with common, flag, currency, institutions like President of the European Union, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, etc., etc. So all these, characteristics of a classic state. But it did not happen. So we had some transition period of several years. A lot of discussion led by the then Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, and actually all this resulted in the Lisbon Treaty. And this treaty actually is actual treaty, which is a current treaty, and in its current provisions are in practice, in force. And it will be like this until we have, let's say, another constitutional treaty where some things, some articles from the treaty will be reformed. But till now, we have in force the Lisbon Treaty. So this is only a short, historical overview of the European Union, and very, very close connection with that is the comparison we have, having in mind from one side the European Union concept versus the concept of the national states. And that is connected with what our colleague Erika mentioned before, that there are many areas where actually the European Union as a whole has the sovereignty, but also there are many areas where the national states have sovereignty, like the education, like the culture, like the security part, like the enlargement policy. Okay, so you understand me. There are many different areas and policies of the European Union which are categorized in the different parts of all these competencies. And in the concepts, of course. So when you enter in a supranational entity like European Union, you have to share your sovereignty. You have to quit a part of your competencies, national competencies of the state. But it happened, but not completely, only partially. So only maybe economic and trade policies, but not the other policies, like education, I don't know, culture. You mentioned security, foreign policy, etc., etc. So there are many areas which are not covered officially by the EU as a whole, but by the member states individually. So there is still a sort of a fight between this, let's say, fight in brackets between intergovernmentalists and supranationalists about the concept of the European Union. But we are actually stuck in a phase where we cannot discuss about some progress regarding this issue. I mean, the situation is same as 16 years ago. So we don't have any step forward regarding this question, but it doesn't mean that it will not happen in future. Then we will see something about also was mentioned by our colleague Erika about competencies of the European Union. So there are three types of these competencies. EU exclusive competencies, generally connected with the economic, monetary, and trade issues. EU shared competencies, and most of these competencies are in the areas, I don't know about, in the areas of transport, energy, infrastructure, etc., etc., and EU supplementary competencies like this in the education, in the culture, in the security, etc. So it's very, situation very different, having in mind the different areas which are covered by the European Union. Yes, please.
Now I want to show myself. Yeah, one of the sector where the EU is influencing a lot and young people have a big opportunity to, I mean, to take this chance is agriculture. There are a lot of funds. But also there are many problems because now we are living in a period that many farmers are in crisis. There are very strict laws affecting our local agriculture. I speak from a region based on tourism and agriculture in the south of Italy, and they are having huge problems. But at the same time, young people can receive a lot of funds if they want to go back to land and be farmer 2.0, very innovative farmer, change the generational ways of making agriculture. So this field of the EU is extremely important, I would say, because we are speaking with many young people, and I'm not in that target in this moment, but I know that there are a lot of funds.
Yes, thank you very much for your good remark. Because I have forgotten this policy of agriculture. What is a problem? Problem are not the funds given by the EU and also by the member states, but problem is the motivation of the young people to be included in the agricultural processes, in the agricultural. Because we live in a very technologically developed time, and the motivation for working in agriculture is at a very low level, unfortunately. Not only in the European Union, but maybe also in some other countries outside the European Union, and maybe inside the European continent, like Balkan countries. I don't know, Turkey also I will mention, where the young people are not motivated for starting a business or a work connected to agriculture, etc. So it's a multidimensional problem, I would say. But despite all these funds given by the European Union, still I think that the level of usage of these funds is a very low level at targeting the young population. I mean. So yes, you're absolutely right, and we all hope that it will be a transition in the opinion of the young people, that and that part of them will include in these processes of using these funds of agricultural funds, because they are very important. Agriculture is very important part of the society, of the policies, because we are witnessing many crises, many problems regarding farmers, blockages, also cutting funds, etc. So it had to be resolved if we want to have some progress, or at least a continuation of these agricultural processes at the level of the European Union, but also outside the European Union, because it's a general problem. Having in mind these constitutional treaties, actually they are the legal base for the European Union. They have a force of a constitutional treaties and as a force of a constitutional law, of course. So there are few these type of treaties which are the main pillars of the European Union. As I mentioned before, it was the European Agreement of Coal and Steel Community. Then we have the European Economic Agreements in Rome. After that, we have the Common European Act in 1985, then followed by the Maastricht Treaty, the famous Maastricht Treaty in 1993. We have some sort of amendment of the Maastricht Treaty with the New Amsterdam Treaty in 1999. Then we have the Nice Treaty from 2001, related with the reform of the institutions. And then, of course, we have the European Constitution, which is not enacted because of the declination of the French and Dutch citizens at the referendum. And at the last and current treaty, we have the Lisbon Treaty, which is the main base of legal functioning of the European Union. So regarding the the legal system of the European Union, actually we have three types of law which are practicing in the Union. They are the primary law, secondary law, and the supplementary law. And what I mentioned before regarding the constitutional treaties, actually they are the primary law of the European Union. But of course, in a treaty, you cannot define every detail for the practical functioning of the European Union in all their institutions, policies, activities, etc. So that's why we have this secondary law, which is most active law, I would say, having in mind, the regulations, the directives, the decisions, and this supplementary law, which is sort of a facultative law, I would say, opinions, recommendations, etc. But generally, through the secondary law, we have the biggest number of enacted law acts in the framework of the European Union, covering all these areas, all these policies, and all these institutions. Okay, so then we will move to the part where we mention the institutions of the European Union, the institutional structure. Of course, for every organization, for every entity, for every state, institutions are the most important part, of course, together with the citizens. So we have also in the European Union, we have very well developed institutional structure, the European Union, and there are several types of institutions in the EU. The most famous are, of course, these political institutions. The European Parliament, the European Commission, the European Council of the European Union. I would explain later the difference between these councils. All these are in the category of political institutions. Then we have the European Central Bank as part of as a representative of the financial institutions. We have the European Court of Justice as the main judicial institution, and of course we have the Court of Auditors, which is a quasi-judicial institution. Actually, is more like a sort of a financial body. You will see now these institutions which I have mentioned before, but I will not go into details regarding these institutions because we'll need another few hours at least to explain all these institutions, their competencies, their composition, etc. I don't think it's necessary to do that in this training. It's good only to mention these institutions and to explain the difference between the councils, because many times my students at least are confused regarding the councils. What is Council of the European Union? What is European Council? What is Council of Europe? So some of them think that they are same, but of course they are not. Can anyone from you tell me the difference of these councils? Okay, I will try to explain very brief. So first of all, the Council of Europe is not a part of the European Union. It's a special organization on the European continent, but it's not connected and related to any EU institutions or bodies. So it's outside the system of the European Union. The Council of the European Union is also famous as the Council of Ministers. So we have different types of ministers participating in this council from the member states. It's dependent from the area they cover. It can be financial ministries of finances. It can be ministries of defense, of security, of internal affairs, etc., etc. So they have different specialization, and it's regarding the issue which is discussed. We have a different groups of members in the Council of the European Union. So it's actually the Council of Ministers. And the European Council is the, I would say, maybe the supreme institution in the European Union, the strategic most important institution in the EU, because in this institution we have the presidents of the states, the presidents of the government, the prime ministers, the chancellors, etc., which are the main political figures in the countries. So the key decisions are brought at the level of the European Council. I hope that I helped in the explanation of these three types of councils. Then we have the financial institutions, as I mentioned, represented by the European Central Bank. We have the judicial institutions, represented by the Court of Justice of the European Union. And we have the quasi-judicial institutions of the European Union, is the Court of the Auditors of the European Union, which actually takes care of all incomes and outcomes of finances to and from the European Union. So it makes a financial revision of all the money coming to and from the European Union. And we have to mention also the as a special institution mostly connected to the European Parliament is the European Ombudsman, which actually takes care about the rights of the European citizens. This institution is maybe the closest to the European citizens, because if they feel that their rights are broken by some EU institution, or we have a case of a so-called maladministration of the institutions. In that situation, the European Ombudsman is actually the institution which can help you in the provision of your rights. Of course, you have to pass all the documents. You have to explain the case, so European Ombudsman can help in the process, asking info and documents from the institutions of the European Union and helping the European citizens. And it is a very important institutional tool in the democratic ambient of the European Union, because it's connected with the citizens and not with the states or the institutions. So I suppose you know the answers of the words in these blank lines you see at the slide, having in mind all we discussed about the European institutions. So what do you think? Which institution is the voice of the EU citizens from the main political institutions? Yes, please, Doni Darko, as I see in this.
Yes, my name is Riccardo. I'm from Calabria, Italy. And the Parliament, the European Parliament.
Yes, of course. What is the voice of the EU member states?
The EU member states is the oh my God. No, it's not the council, because it's the ministers. So
no, it's the council, actually. European Council.
The council.
Bravo, Riccardo.
Grazie.
Yes.
Let's go for it. You're doing well.
Thank you.
Yes, actually, you're right. Yes, the Council, European Council, and also we can say Council of EU, of the ministers, because they represent also their states, right? The member states. So yes, you're right. And what do you think about the voice of the EU as a whole? Which institution is that? The most bureaucratic you mentioned.
The Commission, maybe.
Yes. You're right. You guessed well. The European Commission, yes, is the voice of the EU as a whole, because it is established to be representative of the common interest of the European Union, not only regarding the states but also regarding the citizens. So yes, sort of a mediator and a voice of the EU as a whole. Yes, thank you very much. Very, very nice. Regarding the currency of the European Union, you know that it's the euro. We don't need to discuss any details about it. I will also mention that it was arranged in 1999 and it started effectively in 2002, and it replaced the national currency of many European states which are in this euro area, monetary area, and they use euro as their national currency also. We move now with very shortly, because we don't have time to go into details in all these policies, but we will start with the freedom of movement inside the European Union. Freedom of movement of goods, services, workers, and capital. This is a benefit which European citizens and European states enjoy starting from the 50s in the 20th century, starting from the European Economic Treaty. Continuously, the barriers were moved. There was a big liberalization of the market, free tariffs, free trade, common custom policy towards third parties, etc., etc. So this community was built in several decades, and it resulted with the Maastricht Treaty with a common European market. So inside the European Union, you have complete freedom of movement of goods, of services, of workers, and of course capital or investments. Of course, maybe there are some restrictions, but they're very few. Generally, all the people in European Union are free to move, work, and bring their investment and capital whenever they consider is most appropriate inside the European Union. But we are witnessing today that also many other people outside the European Union can also enjoy these freedoms. Not completely, of course, like the EU citizens, but many of these benefits are available to the citizens outside the European Union. Regarding the economic and monetary union, I will not mention many things. This union is absolved with the Maastricht Treaty, with the establishing of common currency, with the European Central Bank competencies also. So it's a controlled system of the monetary and economic issues by the European Union economic institutions. So having in mind, the freedom, security, and justice, and also these practical issues like migration, asylum, visas. Also, we can discuss many things. Of course, not only good things are happening. Having in mind this, there are many problems regarding illegal migrants, problems with the social systems, problems with the pension systems, also some security problems, etc. So this is a very sensitive issue, and is a special. There is a special need for discussion about it. But generally, still, the European Union has not made any concrete and revolutionary decision about regulating all these things. We have the same regulation like before, so we don't have movement regarding this. I will not discuss a lot about common foreign and security policy of the European Union, because you are most familiar with that. Having in mind that the decision-making processes and the main way of decision-making is unanimity, tells you everything. That still we don't have concrete integration regarding the foreign and security policy of the European Union. We don't see the European Union as a whole. We see only the European member states making decisions about this policy. Enlargement policy of the European Union also, unfortunately, I would say that it is in a stalemate, because we are witnessing that the Western Balkan countries now are sort of under blockage regarding the enlargement policy. The EU is full of internal problems, and the enlargement policy is not very actual regarding the European Union. But we must consider that if we want to have the European continent as a political entity as a whole, then we have to include the Western Balkan countries in the European Union. Also, we have to include Turkey in the European Union, and we have to include these new states from Eastern Europe, like Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia, etc., to be part of the European Union. Because only in this way, in enabling all these countries to be part of the European Union, we will have an opportunity to bring peace and stability, and of course economic development in the European Union. And let's hope that this policy will be changed, and that many of the leading states in the EU will be aware about the meaning of the inclusion of all these European candidate and potential candidate countries in the framework of the European Union. Regarding the future of the European Union, we will discuss, of course, later, maybe at the end. There are several number of political parties in the European Union. What is interesting, their representatives in the European parties, in the European Parliament, sorry, are grouped not by nationality, but by political affiliation. I mean, the European socialists from, let's say, Malta and Hungary sit together in the European Parliament. The European National Party representatives also sit from different states together. The same is for the Reformists, for the Liberal Party, Green Party, etc., etc. So we have sort of political integration from different states in blocks of political groups and parties. Also, it's another issue which can be discussed. Now we come to this part, which is maybe the most interesting for you and most provocative for the discussion about the European Union and the youth. What is the national political participation also of youth? Because we can discuss about the political participation of youth having in mind the European Union, but we also can discuss about national political participation in each of the member states, and also in the states which are candidates or potential candidate countries for membership. So what is the level of their political participation and inclusion in the political system? And this is very, very important issue and very important questions for the young people, because the future is on the young people, and we cannot rely only to the politicians which have a lot of experience, which they have many years spent in politics, but we also should invest in young political forces who in future will lead the European Union, will lead the European institutions, will lead the member states, ministries, etc., etc. So we have to invest in young people. Knowledge, attitude, and political visions is our main task, because the older politicians will retire and we will not have competent leaders for this. So if we don't make appropriate investment in the knowledge and vision of these young people, and increase the political participation of youth. But we'll see in the next slides that actually it's not very simple, that it is a sort of a problem. It's only, of course, we also can think about supranational political participation of youth. Many international agencies, organizations, NGOs gather many young people from different sides of the world, and they integrate their political activation, and it's a good thing. But anyway, it had to be articulated into concrete things, so we have impact by the young people. We'll see now some statistical information which are connected to young people. In the area of political participation, in a third of countries, eligibility for national parliament starts at 25 years old or older. And only 1.65% of parliamentarians around the world are in their 20s, and only 11.87% are in their 30s. So we have a lack of young people in the parliaments. The average age actually of parliamentarians globally is 53, 50 years old for women parliamentarians. So we have relatively old parliamentarians, which is not a good. I would say that it is not a good thing. Young people between the ages of 15 and 25 constitute a fifth of the world's population. So you see that regarding the number of young people, we have a lot of potential placed in young people who can be articulated into concrete political actions on a national or on a supranational level. So we have to use all these opportunities we have, having in mind the young people. So youth can be a creative force, a dynamic source of innovations, and then have undoubtedly throughout history participated, contributed, and even catalyzed important changes in political systems, power sharing dynamics, and economic opportunities. However, youth also face poverty, unfortunately, barriers to education in some countries, multiple forms of discrimination, and limited employment prospects and opportunities. And I consider it as one of the biggest problems for the young people, especially regarding the limited employment opportunities. You know, when you probably have faced such situation, maybe some of you, when you go to interview for work, especially for the women, it's a problem. They ask you, are you married? Do you have children? Do you have intention to for birth, and etc., etc. So you know, you go into some private areas which is forbidden for a professional work. But unfortunately, many employers do that, and they ask this inconvenient question for the interview, and it's not good. It's not allowed, of course. It's sort of discrimination, because yes, please, Talha, Khalid, as I see. Can you hear me? You can raise your hand. Do you want to comment something? Okay. Okay. So it's not allowed to do that, and it is very negative. It has very negative impact towards the young people. And I hope that this situation will change in future, and then that the main criteria for employment will be the professionality and the competencies, of course. Young men and women are traditionally active politically in universities, when it is allowed, of course, but very often disillusioned with political leadership and political institutions, and they're excluded from policy development. As a result, political activism of youth is not organized according to formal groupings. And it is also this is also a very big problem, especially having in mind the motivation of the young people to participate in the creation of public policies, because they are considered by the older politicians like people who don't have experience, people who don't have enough competencies, etc., etc. So at the very beginning, they are discriminated regarding their knowledge and regarding their activism. And of course, this generates a lack of motivation of young people to be included in this part. Of course, the situation is different in different countries. We cannot say that it's the same in all the countries in the world, but but many countries face such problems. Young people from many countries face this discrimination, face these problems, and cannot be activated appropriately according to their knowledge. Opportunities for youth to engage in governance and participate in political and decision-making processes depend largely on the political, socio-economic, and cultural context, where social norms in many parts of the world result in multiple forms of discrimination against young women. Yes, of course, the most vulnerable target group are the women, which in many countries they don't have the same rights as the men. Not regarding only the process of employment, but also in the other areas, and managing positions, etc., leadership positions. So it is a problem in many parts of the world and in many states. Youth are not represented adequately in formal political institutions and processes such as parliaments, political parties, elections, public administration. And of course, the situation is even more difficult for both young women as well as women in their mid-level and decision-making and leadership positions. In order to respond to the needs of young people and to guarantee that their basic human rights are recognized and enforced, young people's active and meaningful participation in their societies and in democratic practices and processes is of crucial importance. Meaningful youth participation and leadership require that young people and young people-led organizations have opportunities, capacities, and benefit from enabling environment and relevant evidence-based programs and policies at all levels. So this is very important issue. With these limited opportunities and exposure to meaningfully participate in inclusive decision-making processes, young men and women feel excluded and marginalized in their societies and communities. The need for participatory structures and greater trust between youth and institutions and for greater capacity development were also stressed. Efforts should be made to focus on the most vulnerable of young people, including via specific actions targeting young women. Of course, young people have demonstrated the potential to build bridges across communities, to work together, to help to manage conflict, to promote peace, democracy, stability. Young people are vital stakeholders in conflict and in peace building and can be agents of change and provide a foundation for rebuilding lives and communities, contributing to a more just and peaceful society. Thank you very much for your attention in this first part of the presentation. I think we are right on time. We have 3 minutes more if you want to ask at this point some question or to make some comments. Yes, please. Anyone wants to?
This time I was
Yes,
wrong. I raised my hand, but I was wrong. I was commenting that you did great, and it has been great, really.
Thank you very much for your comment. Yes, I was honored to share this info with you and to hear some information also for you, especially that some of you are citizens of the European Union and you know the processes from inside. So you know the reality, the practice information came by the European Union. I'm more theoretically prepared because I'm not part of the European Union. Macedonia, unfortunately, still is not part of the European Union. So you, as, I don't know, Italians, Latvians, or some other states, Romanians, etc., you know the processes from inside, and you can share your explanations. But I hope that also the Balkan states, Turkey, and the other Eastern European countries will be part of the European Union and will, of course, include in the decision-making processes, especially the youth, the young forces, the young generation will be more and more included in the participation in the EU political decision-making processes, creating of public policies, etc. And I hope that we will see that in the near future. For now, thank you very much for your attention. Maybe we can make, if you want, 5 minutes break, and we will continue with the more practical part of the training. Okay? Is it fine with you? Okay. So please let's make some short break of 5 minutes, and then we will continue. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, we are here again. I hope we can continue. Are you ready? We'll move to some more practical issues now, because I would like to activate you more. I have created a very brief quiz related to the EU issues. It's very easy quiz, and you can answer the questions from the quiz in the chat, of course, so I can hear your opinion regarding this. I will try to share now this slide. I hope you can see it. Can you see it? Yes. Okay. So we will start with, yes, thank you. We will start with the first and basic question. I think we had answered the question during the first part of the lecture. What is the European Union? 1, international organization. 2, federation. Or 3, entity sui generis. What do you think? You can write down the number in the chat so I can see it. Yes, feel free to do it, even to give the wrong answer. It's not a problem. I would like to hear your opinion. Okay, you have started with your answers. Somebody else? Yes, you're right. 3 is the right answer. As we mentioned, European Union is an entity sui generis. Thank you very much. Let's move to the second question. Can you see it? So the European coal and steel community was based on the Monnet Plan, the Schuman Plan, or the Marshall Plan. You can give now your answers. One and two. Okay. 1 and 2. Okay, you're all close and right, but the Monnet Plan was the main base. Also, the Schuman Plan is included, and the Marshall Plan is related to the general renewal of the European continent after the Second World War. So yes, the most appropriate answer is the Monnet Plan. I will continue now with the third question. I'm sure you know this answer. Which are the 6 countries establishers of the European Union, the European Coal and Steel Community? We have mentioned them. I suppose you know them. You can write down these states, establishers of the EU in 1951. Do you remember this part? Okay, let's start with France. Germany. Okay. Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Italy, Spain, Portuguese. You're close. Yeah, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Italy, and France. Spain and Portugal. Yes, it can be West Germany. Yes, of course. But Spain and Portugal actually entered the European Union a little bit later in 1986. So yes, Belgium, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, and West Germany. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Most of the answers were okay. This is also a very easy question. What does Benelux stand for? Okay, what is Benelux? This acronym, what it means, yes. Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Exactly. The answer is right. Okay. Who was the first president of the European Economic Community is the next question. First, Konrad Adenauer, second, Walter Holstein, and three, Robert Schuman. What do you think? Most of the answers are three, but actually the number is two. Walter Holstein. You were close, and we have some right answer. Maybe this is more difficult question, but the next one are easier. Which is the newest EU constitutional treaty? Maastricht Treaty, Amsterdam Treaty, or Lisbon Treaty? Which is the newest and current treaty? In 2007. Yes, exactly. Most of the answers are okay. Number three, Lisbon Treaty is the newest EU constitutional treaty. Let's move to the next question. When did Poland enter the European Union? What do you think? In 1986, 2004, or 2007? I will help you and I will tell you that it is the biggest enlargement with 10 countries. Yes, same as Hungary, absolutely. And it is in 2004. Yes, you are all right. It was the biggest wave of enlargement in 2004. Now let's move to some economic issues. Do you know which country currently has the highest GDP per capita in the EU? Be careful, it's per capita, not completely, not in aggregate. So it's first Luxembourg, then Germany, second and third Finland. Most of the answers are okay. Number one, yes, Luxembourg actually has the highest GDP per capita in the European Union. And now we go to the next question. What do you think? It's very easy because of I see where the participants mainly come from, so it's very easy. Which country is not part of the so-called Western Balkans? Albania, Turkey, or Serbia? I know that you will all have right answers. Yes, Turkey is not a part of Western Balkans. Albania and Serbia are part of Western Balkans. Thank you very much. Let's move to the next question. Probably you will know the answer of the question. Which is the poorest country in the European Union? First Slovakia, second Bulgaria, third Greece. Let's see your answers. Different answers, but the right answer is number two, Bulgaria. According to statistical data, Bulgaria is the poorest country in the European Union. Now let's move to ecology. The next question is from protection of environment area. What do you think? Which is the less polluted city in the European Union? First, Faro, Portugal. Second, Munich, Germany. And third, Vienna, Austria. Okay. Different answers, but the right answer is number one. Faro, Portugal is the less polluted city in the European Union. Now we move to the opposite question of the previous. Now, which is the most polluted city in the European Union? First, Krakow, Poland. Second, Padova, Italy. And third, Slavonski Brod, Croatia. Unfortunately, currently Slavonski Brod, Croatia is the most polluted city. It used to be, I think that last year it was Krakow, and several years ago it was also Padova, I think, in a period of the year. But currently, as I checked on the internet, Slavonski Brod is the most polluted city in the European Union. Now we move to geography. Which is the biggest country by population in the European Union? What do you think? Which is the state with the biggest population? Yes, we have consensus of that. Germany is the biggest country by population. But let's see. I have some 2 questions more, and it's connected also with the countries. Which is the biggest country by surface area in the European Union? What do you think? Not by population, but by surface, like territory. Yes, most of the answers are correct, although we have different answers. France is the biggest country by surface area. So the biggest territory is on France. Okay, now which is the smallest country by surface area in the European Union? What do you think? First Ireland, second Malta, and third Slovenia. Yeah, it's easy question. Of course, easy answer. Number 2 is the right answer. Malta is the smallest country by surface area in the European Union. Now we move to this question. You have answered that Germany is the country with the biggest population in the European Union. But which is the smallest one? First Ireland, second Malta, and third Slovenia by population. Yes, it's the same situation like regarding territory is also regarding the population. Malta is the smallest country also by population in the framework of the European Union. Okay. Now, political history. Which is the newest European Union member state? First Romania, second Bulgaria, third Croatia. Which is the country which entered last in the European Union in 2013? Yes, Croatia. Most of the answers are okay. Croatia was the last member state and the newest actually member state of the European Union. And after that we have 11 years of status quo situation with no other new country as a new European Union member. It's very interesting question I have found also on the internet. Which member state do you think that of the European Union had the longest anthem? First Austria, second Greece, or third Sweden? Yes, Greece has the longest anthem in the European Union. You're right. Now we move to this current information connected to the EU institutions. Do you know who is the current president of the European Commission? First Jean-Claude Juncker, second Ursula von der Leyen, and third José Manuel Barroso. Yes, I'm sure that all of you know the answer. The answer is Ursula von der Leyen. Who is the current president of the European Council? What do you think? First Charles Michel, second Donald Tusk, and third Herman Van Rompuy. What do you think about the European Council? No, Charles Michel actually, number 1, is the right answer. He's currently president of the European Council. Okay, next we move to the European Parliament. So Who do you think is a president of the European Parliament? First, Roberta Metsola, second, Antonio Tajani, and third, Martin Schulz. The one who come from Italy, you know the answer. Yes, Roberta Metsola is actually the current president of the European Parliament. Okay. The next question is how many members does the European Parliament count? First, 650, second, 720, and third, 735. What do you think? Okay. Yes, number 2 is the right answer. 720 is the current number of the MEPs, members of the European Parliament. Okay. And now we continue with very easy question. I know that you all know the answer. How many member states does the European Union currently have? First is 26, second is 27, and third is 28. Most of you think it's 28, but actually you have forgotten that Brexit happened, so it's 27 again. When Croatia entered, and the number was 28, but after the Brexit, actually the number got back to 27. But yes, you are right. You know the movement of numbers in the EU, of member states in the EU. Now, we will finish with 2 interesting questions. Which is the tallest nation in the European Union? What do you think? First, Denmark, second, Netherlands, and third, Estonia. Yes, Dutch people are the tallest nation in the European Union. The other countries also have very tall people, but according to statistics, Netherlands leads this process. And the last question, which is the shortest nation in the European Union, I was surprised by the answer, but I hope you will try. First is Cyprus, second Portugal, and third Malta. Me also. I thought also that Cyprus has the shortest nation, but actually it was Portugal, according to internet, that Portugal has the shortest nation in the European Union. Okay, I would like to. Yes, many jokes, of course, on the count of Portugal about that, but. I hope that for the next time I will find statistics for the most clever nations, so we will make some positive qualifications for these states. Thank you very much, all of you, for your participation in this quiz. I'm very happy that you generally know many things about the European Union, and you are very familiar with the situation in the European Union. Once again, thank you much for the participation. I would propose now also another 5-minute break, and we will continue with the third, also interactive part. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we are all here. We can continue with the last but not less interesting part, of course. As I have noticed at the beginning, there were 75 or maybe 80 participants. Now are the bravest 48 participants. So it's a big rate of survival, academic survival. Thank you very much for that. Okay, we will move to some more practical issues, and I would like to hear your opinion in this part. It is about now I think it is shared the presentation. Yes. So I would like to have you as politicians and public policy creators in this part. What I will ask from you to do is to choose an area for analysis. Let's say I have proposed several areas, but you can add another area. Of course, we can discuss about economy. We can discuss about protection of the environment. We can discuss about tourism. We can discuss about education, culture or art. We can discuss about agriculture or something else if you like as a topic. What is your task will be, to choose first area. Then make a sort of a brainstorming of the selected area and to present your public policy proposal for the selected area and give some argumentation for the implementation process. But first of all, I'd like to ask you to write down on chat which area are you most interested in to make analysis for. Okay, we start with tourism, right? Agriculture, tourism. Okay, for now we will start with tourism. We have also education. Okay, maybe we will treat all these areas with some remarks by you. Okay, let's first start with the tourism. So if you are on power in your state, if you're, let's say, Minister of Tourism, or I don't know, something very similar to this position, what would you do in your country? Or if you are European Commissioner of Tourism, what would you do for the development of tourism in the European Union? So I would like to hear your opinions and your proposals. You can write down on chat as a concrete proposal. Let's say, packages for summer tourism, I don't know, agro-tourism, ethno-tourism or something else. So think about some concrete measures which can be implemented in the development of the tourism sector. Okay, you can do that. Feel free to do it. We will discuss it, of course, which measures you propose for the development of tourism. Put yourself in a position of a minister, or I don't know, a person with high political impact in your country, which is responsible for tourism development. What would you do? What measures will you propose to be implemented so the tourism can be developed more and more and can bring you benefit, of course, financial benefit for the country? What do you think? Which are the modalities which we can use for the development of tourism? Do you have some concrete proposals? Let's say maybe support from the state for the development of tourism, some grants from foreign funds, or something else. Let's not think only about this classic tourism, conventional tourism, but also let's think about this sort of this type of let's say alternative tourism. Permatourism can be a great area to improve. Yes, of course. Some other measure. Reducing the prices of hotels in Turkey also. Designate youth who has knowledge on it, so tourists can select more a country due to cheap prices. Yes, actually, it's very interesting note because I remember that before the COVID crisis, Turkey was a very attractive destination, especially for high quality tourism in the hotels with many stars. Due to the very nice services and to lower prices. But last years, I think that the prices went up a lot. So now many people are not able to go to Turkey due to the prices. So yes, promoting the ecotourism around Antalya and some other areas, protect the seaside, prevent the building. Yes, it is very important but sensitive issue regarding the building, because there is a lot of pressure by the investors, sometimes even threats, because the business is on their first place. They don't look after the environment, they don't look after the rules, the laws, etc. So yes, absolutely, the seaside should be maximally protected, and the building should be deeper in the inside of the place, of the village, of the town, and not around the coast. To improve infrastructure, yes, it is very important, because the tourists had to be able to arrive to the wanted destination, tourist destination, by car, by plane, by train, etc., etc. Unique attractions, yes, unique attractions is good, especially if you focus on people or clients or tourists who are more, who want some special extravagant experience. So yes, also offering unique attractions can attract a lot of tourists to come. Releasing a public transport ticket types like 24 hours or longer, such as Prague and Vienna in Turkey. Yes, it could be a good idea, especially in the summer. Time, not only in summer but in spring, in autumn also, because as I know, to speak concretely about Turkey, the tourist season starts maybe from April and it lasts till November, so it's more than half a year. So it's a good and interesting proposal for this 25 hours ticket types for all tourists, and they can move from one to another touristic destinations to visit more places and to explore more the coast of Turkey, of course. Yes, it's very interesting proposal, of course. But if not possible during the whole year, maybe only during the summertime or around summertime. Develop environmental policies to improve the healthiness of places. Yes, it is also related to the strategy of the state. Impact also of the politicians, have direct communications with regional and municipal bodies to have better use of state and community funds. Yes, especially the local self-government and the regional self-government should be very active and to know how to use these funds and to protect the environment and to enable the development of tourism. Provide more attentive services for travel, accommodation, and visits. Yes, it's one of the main tasks for promoting tourism everywhere. But today is very easy to do that because we have internet, we have many social networks, and a lot of platforms where we can make advertisement for all these places with images, with detailed explanations of the place, etc., etc. So everything can be known in advance, and the tourists can know what to expect when they will visit a concrete place. That's why we can use internet. We can explore the internet about that. Bundle deals and digital marketing. Yes, it is a part of the strategy. Most of the people now use very frequently the internet, so it's maybe the better the optimal source of information regarding tourism, but also many other things. So we can use the digital marketing as a especially useful tool for attracting tourists. Concrete proposal: increasing number of e-scooter to reduce emission and satisfying CO2 footprint regulations. Yes, it's one of these measures which can help in the protection of environment, but it's dependent from the economic possibilities of the community, municipality, or the region to enable such e-scooters, or I don't know, bikes, or some else transport means which can help people and which will make people to not to use their cars and to pollute the environment. Reduce imports and produce more local products thanks to the primary sector. It is very interesting proposal, especially if we consider the places and areas which are very rich with fruits, vegetables, and some local products, which can be, produced especially during the summer. Tourists can try these products, the original products from this area, and they will and to leave a very good impression of the local food, of course. So yes, actually, tourists must try from the local food, local fruits, local vegetables, local drinks, etc. So they can have good experience in this place. Number 3, with ICT, information and communication technology, but also with live reunion that implement ICT and services. Okay, this can be used also as a very important tool for help, but I think that we have very good digital infrastructure for now for promoting tourism, and maybe it's not a priority, but of course it will not be a pity if such information and communication technology is available more. Reducing bureaucracy in all sectors. Yes, actually, not only tourism, but in every areas, you should maximally reduce bureaucracy. I know that there are a lot of problems with the public administration and the bureaucracy and all these rules, procedures, which can be very, very bad for demotivating in all the countries, not only in EU countries, but also in other countries. And they should be, cut it down. Bureaucracy at minimum and pleasure at maximum. It's my device for development of tourism. You can agree or disagree with that, but which you have to make very simple way of using the tourist services for all the tourists, so they can be motivated to travel and to visit many places. Introducing touristic places, but not known too much more, and strive to travel all around country like Switzerland. Yes, it is very, very, especially for the smaller countries. It's a very good way of promoting its areas, its mountains, villages, etc. To advertise some tourist places which are not much familiar, but you can promote them on internet, and when the people from the world, the tourists, will see, they will be maybe interested in visiting these concrete places, because generally, the sea tourism is, we have marketing for sea tourism, etc., but not so much for let's say mountain tourism or ethnotourism, or I don't know, ecotourism, etc. So you have to be creative regarding the advertisement. Improving the facilities to allow tourists good refreshment and a good residence. Yes, it's a basic need for all tourists. They have to be satisfied with the stay in a concrete place. They have to bring with themselves a good impressions from the place they visit, so they can revisit it again. and they can, of course, give good remarks on the websites, to recommend to visit these places, etc., etc. So it means a lot for this contemporary tourism. The good evaluation, the good remarks means a lot. We are all witnessing that regarding the evaluation processes of hotels, tourist destinations, etc., etc. So you have to be careful about that, and you have to take care on your reviews you get from the tourists. And if you don't get a good evaluation and grades from the tourists, you have to change something, so next time you receive more high evaluation and grades. Reducing flight and connecting new flight routes such as Dalaman and Cappadocia, so they can visit sea as much as very cheaply. Okay, there are many so-called charter flights organized to concrete touristic destinations, but maybe this number of flights should not reduce, but maybe increase. Maybe you can reduce the regular flights during summer, but you can increase the number of charter concrete flights to a concrete destination, because in the summer people usually go on a summer vacation, and they use travel flights, airplanes for arriving in a concrete place. But yes, you can also during the whole year you can think about it, of course. Something else, some other idea regarding tourism? I must admit, you can be all of you can be very good tourist managers and tourist guides, because you have very innovative approach and very interesting suggestions for a development of the tourism sector. Most of you, as I see, come from Turkey, as Turkey has very big touristic potential. As I mentioned to you at the beginning of this session, I know that a few years ago Turkey was very interested in attracting students from attracting tourists from different countries, with offering very good services with not so high prices, especially in this hotel sector. But after the COVID crisis, I think that situation has changed a lot. But I hope that Turkey will find a good way how to rebuild the tourist attraction again, and to attract more and more tourists from around the world, because it has a lot of tourist potentials and capacities. Okay, I think we are on time. Thank you very much again for your interest and participation, very active participation. I'm very happy about it. To be honest, I learned a lot of things things from you regarding tourism, which I didn't know before. Thank you for that. It's good to hear experiences from different countries, different parts of Europe, different areas. So I hope that we will have other opportunities to discuss about more and more things. I will, of course, at the end leave space for questions and comments, if you like. Anyone wants to ask something or add some comment? Yes, Aykan Samadov. Yes, please.
Hello, good evening. I have a personal question, like out of curiosity to the expert, that about the enlargement of the European Union. Which country, especially from Western Balkans, do you think can bring a great value if they join EU soon?
Very interesting question. I have never thought about this question. You're the first one who asked me this question. Depends what you try to find in the states. What do you expect from the states? Let's say, for me, Montenegro is the closest country to EU membership from the Western Balkans. Montenegro has also good tourism, has sea, but also the other countries has some other values, some other performances. Albania also has sea. Serbia has a lot to offer regarding food production. Macedonia has also some specific features that are interesting for the European Union. So Bosnia and Herzegovina also. So I don't see if you think about some favorite. I don't think that EU has some favorite regarding these states coming from Western Balkans. But I can assure you that regarding the negotiation processes and all these chapters, opening of chapters, Montenegro is the closest to membership. I don't know if I have answered your question. I know that I didn't give you a concrete answer, but I really don't know it because I don't see I don't know the perceptions of the European Union citizens and states. Thank you very much. But it's very interesting question, and there may be several answers about the question. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Some other question or comment or critics? Maybe, yes. I'm open to critics, of course, also.
Dear Professor, thank you very
Yes.
much for successfully implemented training sessions. Dear participants, you were also great. You were so creative and productive listeners at the same time. It's so important to listen and to focus what the professor want to try to focus on and to be productive in all aspects of this topic. I hope that we are going to have such successful training sessions in near future. Tomorrow we have the last part of this online training session, so we'll see what will happen on tomorrow. So, dear participants, I invite you to be part of tomorrow's the same time. Thank you very much, dear Professor.
Thank you very much, all of you, for the organizing and enabling this event, and thanks for all participants for their active participation in all these mentoring parts. And I hope that we will meet in some other occasion and we will continue our cooperation.
Of course, we'll be in touch.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye to all of you.
Bye-bye.
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 Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye. Bye-bye.